Way.
I see you with the shirt on. LL Nation, what's goody? For the Culture Friday, as always, Lefty Podcast. I'm Shaun Davis at SD2 Mics, my main guy, the original Lucky Lefty himself, Malik Zaire. We are featuring and brought to you, as always, by Anora Whiskey. Go to AnoraWhiskey.com. It's that premium American whiskey, AnoraWhiskey.com. You can find it around the Notre Dame campus.
Or get it online or whatever, whichever way you want it, baby.
So today we want to talk about how explosive can the Notre Dame offense be in 2022. You know, the entire week we covered running backs, wide receivers. We talked about the quarterbacks and the impact of Harry Heastand in the offensive line. How explosive can a Notre Dame offense be? Also, we want you to go to our poll question on the YouTube channel for the Culture Friday. January 1st or January 21st, it's a special day, right? 1978, Saturday Night Fever for the Bee Gees win number one. 85, Run DMC, King of Rock dropped. And Run DMC they really were the first hip hop rock stars. That we're going to keep it up. You know,
and they was the first to be with Adidas, right? Or something like that.
Right. So you see guys like Tyler the Creator and all the young cats that are doing that, Young Thug. Man, 85, King of Rock, Run DMC became those guys. And then today is a happy birthday to one of the best female MCs in hip hop history. Happy birthday to Rhapsody.
Underrated. Yeah, underrated. So, Rhapsody, all her albums are great.
Mm-hmm.
I love Rhapsody albums. You got to check it out. I mean, she puts out playthroughs. Like, you know, I don't know too many female artists that got playthrough albums and she's telling stories through it.
Yeah.
Man, really? Oh, man, I'm surprised you knew about that one.
Oh, come on, man. Don't disrespect me like that. Don't do that. So our poll for the culture, go over to the YouTube channel. Who is the greatest female MC? Who is the greatest female MC? We got some great options. Latifah, Foxy, Kim, Rhapsody, MC Light. So go over there and vote right now. Yeah, JJ Fad. You go all the way back. We do have the other option as well if you feel like somebody else.
That roller coaster love. Yeah. She got them cuts, man.
So before we get into the breakdown, man, how, with everything that we know and we don't know concerning the Notre Dame offense, how explosive do you think they can be in 2022?
Well, you know, in this case, it definitely depends on the quarterback. I look at it as if Tyler Buckner's not throwing over 3,000 yards next season, it's just going to be real tough to find where that explosiveness is going to come from. And on the scoreboard, I think we'll be able to get a bunch of yards. But in terms of, in my mind, being explosive has to come with scoring points and putting a lot of points up on the scoreboard in a game. That's explosive to me. So if Tyler Buckner's not throwing over 3,000 yards in this season coming up, it's just going to be tough. I mean, we made it to the playoffs with Ian throwing under 2,000. So it was just interesting to see where that growth can come from Tyler Buckner, because you're going from a guy who had hurt hamstrings to asking him to beat Ohio State the next season.
Right.
And throwing the ball at a high clip. So I'm sure there's going to be struggles early, but Tommy's got to find a way to get him over that mark if he wants to see us scoring in that 40 range that you were saying. I was thinking more, 30, 35, but you were shooting for 40, an average. So that takes a lot of passing yards to do it in this day and age. I think the running backs will come along if that's the case as well, because that means it'll open up the run and we can see who pops out of that running back as the lead guy.
So can I throw some numbers at you?
Yeah.
Some very interesting numbers when we talk about explosiveness, all right? Because we're about to dig into this. Alabama in 2020, of course, that was a historically great offense for Alabama with Mac Jones at the helm. 48.5 points per game. They dropped all the way down to 39.3, and that's with a Heisman winning quarterback and 2 first-round receivers. So that just shows you the disparity. Now, I would think Najee Harris in the running game was a little bit more efficient and more explosive than Brian Robinson and the offensive troubles they had on the offensive line this year. Georgia went from 32 points in 2020 to 37. So they bumped it up 5 points per game. The only thing they really did was added an explosive tight end and Brock Bowers.
The number one tight end.
They didn't have Pickens, and their wide receivers won't really take the top off defense. But what they did have were 3 versatile running backs that they not only used in the power running game, but also in the passing game. So you have to give Todd Munchkin some credit for how he was able to create more opportunities for explosive offense. And we saw that late in the fourth quarter, when they got down after the fumble by Stetson Bennett, they went power game. And then once they got to midfield, they went explosive big plays to either get touchdowns or pass interference. Now, Notre Dame, 2020, averaged 33.4 points. That's not going to get it. We talked about this the other day. You have to get at least to – I'm comfortable if they would get to at least 37, 38. Now we're sitting at the table. 2021, 35.2. I'm not comfortable with that. I'm just not comfortable. That's not explosive enough. We can even talk about Cincinnati. Cincinnati pretty much sat at 35 in 2020 and only bumped up to 36.5 in 2021. Basically, they just beat Notre Dame. That's what Cincinnati did. They played the same schedule, beat the same teams, walked into South Bend, beat Notre Dame, and that was their entire resume to go on to the college football.
That's all they needed.
That's all they needed. That's all they needed. They had been knocking at the door and whining and complaining for like 2 years about let us in as a non-power 5. Now, explosive offense comes in the first half. This is what we have to talk about. The best teams explode in the first half, which goes to scheme, preparation, coaching, and players. Alabama has averaged 25 points per first half over the last 2 years. 25, fam. 25. Ohio State leads the nation. 28 points per game in the first half over the last 2 years. Georgia, 22 points per game in the first half. You want to know Notre Dame? 18 and 19 points per game in the first half.
Not good enough.
Because it gets worse. All 3 teams that I talked about, Bama, Georgia, Ohio State, they all average less points in the second half. That's the common thread. Teams make adjustments, or either those teams get out to big leads and take their foot off the gas. So what does that mean? Great teams start off fast offensively and then finish you with the power running game in the second half. That is great teams, unless you just have a historically great team like Alabama did in 2020, where they can just run you over for 4 quarters because their talent is that good. Teams jump out and explosive plays come in the first half more than they come in the second half. That is something that needs to change with Notre Dame. They have to get up above 20 points in the first half per game, preferably 23-24, to really become an explosive offense.
Yeah, and the numbers give a clear depiction of how close we are to being where we want to be, and the things that it's going to take to get there are very small, but they're important pieces, like saying the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Is Tyler Buckner 3 or 4 points difference? That's what we're talking. We're not saying that Tyler is far away and a 5-5 quarterback, whatever the case is. We're saying, is he 2 or 3 points different that can make us in contention with those teams that we're right there with? And even though we're right there with them in margin, the talent gap is still there as well, which is what we're aiding through recruiting. I think Marcus Freeman has gotten to the core issues of what needs to be fixed first, priority wise, and getting the recruiting right. And that'll translate into that bump in points. But it does come down to how Tyler and Tommy Reese work together on figuring out that difference. Where is that? Is the difference in throwing the ball more, which in my opinion is for Tyler to be over 3,000 yards. That's going to get you those 2 or 3 point differences.
So how many points is proper usage of Michael Mayer worth? See, that's another question.
In the offense we were running this year, it was too non-specific. Michael Mayer did great in the offense, but you couldn't say that the offense was Michael Mayer or bust because we relied on a little bit of everybody. So I think that the system is going to give a lot of people opportunities, which give the recruiting side even more benefit because you're going to at least touch it on a reverse or get a little screen or a run or something. So Tommy's is going to spread the love. However, when you have a player like Michael Mayer, Georgia makes no mistake about it. They won the championship, and you knew who the guy they was throwing to.
Yeah, I was confused at the lack of attention they gave him, or targets they gave him in the championship game.
And he still had 2 touchdowns, right? Oh, he had 1 or he had 2.
I know he had the clinching touchdown.
Yeah, he had the screen touchdown. That was nice. Or the little slip touchdown. That was nice. But you know who the guy is on their offense. We assume Michael Mayer is the guy because he's the most talented. However, he wasn't a threat like how Georgia was using his guy.
Yeah.
So I think that in the case where receivers are looking at our school, it's like, are you a Patty Mills? Because that's more of what we like outside of you being a superstar impact player, So for us, I think it's important that Tommy gets the identity down pat so we can fine tune the offense to, all right, we just need a big play receiver,
I've seen a lot of chatter since the championship game of people buying into, and look, that's fine. But people really buying into, man, championship game proved that if everything goes right, you can win a national championship without an elite quarterback. And I'm like, okay, you have evidence of that, but why do you want to be that as a program? That's my question. I would much rather be, and this sounds crazy, going into that fourth quarter, I would much rather be Bryce Young and Bama than Kirby Smart and Stetson Bennett.
Yeah, I told everybody that before the game. I said the game is going to come down to Bryce Young versus that defense on the last possession. That's what I said.
Yeah.
Because that's the long-term way of getting it done.
And that's Bryce Young without his two first round.
And even with all what Alabama was going through, it still came down to the quarterback.
Came down to the quarterback. So that's why I would much rather be. Yeah, go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah, when you fast food the process, everything's got to be perfect. Yeah. I mean, the whole Georgia defense was pretty much intact. Stetson Benson didn't lose it for you.
He's so disrespectful, man. Stop calling that dude the butler.
Quarterbacks like that are guys that just don't have to lose it for you. He's not the reason why they won, is he? Absolutely not. No. Absolutely not. Because you couldn't put Stetson Bennett on Bryce Young's team and come out with a victory. If you swap quarterbacks, Stetson Benson would not get the job done in Alabama. So
disrespectful.
It's true. First of all, Nick Saban not even recruiting a Stetson Benson or Bennett or whatever it is.
You said Benson on purpose, dude. I know what you're trying to do. Go ahead.
But that's Notre Dame fans. We don't want to be like that with Georgia because that relies too much on us spending a bunch of money, getting a bunch of high quality talent. We can live in the world of getting a great quarterback and that raises the level of everybody around them. But Georgia bought the raised level.
Well,
They didn't buy a fish for the tank. They bought the tank.
Yeah. Yeah. The elite quarterback closes the gap quicker. It's a whole lot easier to get that elite quarterback than it is to go and get 25 stars.
It's a whole lot easier. And then it's better for the program because you can develop him. You can get a face of the program. You can get some consistency and identity. When you fast food the process, that's a lot of moving parts. You know, Georgia probably had a lot to deal with keeping it intact with as many superstar personalities that they had. I mean, think about all the transfers they had right after the season.
Right.
So we want to worry about retention. We don't see too many guys leaving Notre Dame. Well, we had 3 or 4 this year.
KJ Wallace just jumped in on yesterday. Kyrie G. Both of those guys are safeties. They're writing on the wall with the young guys on the back end. And Brandon Joseph.
Young guys and with the transfer. Yeah, exactly. So, and that's a natural football process. I wouldn't say it was because they didn't like the coach or whatever. It's kind of they got to do what's best for them. But finding an elite quarterback, especially at Notre Dame, especially what Tommy has been wanting to do in that offense, I think it solves a lot of answers for the points. I think it solves a lot of answers for consistency. I think we'll see a more highlighted use of our talent and putting them in opportunities and space when defense has got to worry about the quarterback. That frees up so much more, especially when you have talented guys around you. That's where you get the Oregon offense with Marcus Mariota or the CJ Stroud offense with, you know, any guy that's showing up in New York. Their offenses are pretty dynamic with those players.
3 guys that are the biggest key to this offense taking the next step up and getting up to about 37, 38 points per game.
Styles.
Okay.
Buckner. And 35 points a game. Styles, Buckner. See, I don't know who else Tommy would want to go to that wouldn't he would treat like everybody else. You know what I mean? I think Tommy is more of a system guy.
See, I think for me, I would take Styles off, right? And I would say, no, I'll take it back. I'm going to go Styles, Mayer, O-line, and say that the quarterback really doesn't even matter. We're talking about like importance, because neither quarterback is going to be successful if that O-line is not good.
Well, me and you both know we trust the O-line is a better direction than going in the last year. So that's just a given. It's a given they're going to be better for Tyler, you know, next year than they were this year.
So for Tyler, you're basically talking about RPO, explosive plays in the run game, because that opens up explosive plays for the running backs and for Tyler. And now RPO and play action for Lorenzo and for Michael Mayer. See, that's why that offensive line is so – offensive line might be number one based upon the parts.
But the offensive line is going to be there. We're never in a –
we thought that last year.
I don't ever think we was in a position during the time I was there, or even after, up to this point, where I felt like the reason we lost the game was because the O-line couldn't hold up. I think it always came down to our players not executing, specifically at the quarterback position.
Right.
Either turn the ball over or just not showing up in general or coming out too flat. I think that having Tyler I think he can break that top 10 list because, come on, like, 2 of those guys are recycled.
You talking about the top 10 returning quarterbacks?
Yeah, he could definitely break that top 10, but if he can just get in that top 5, we got a really good chance of seeing more people and having a great chance of scoring a lot more points. The O line is going to be there. I think everybody's going to be harsh on our O line after that first game because they're going against a juggernaut.
Yeah.
But by mid-season, they're going to be like, oh, we've gotten so much better. They were always that good. We just went against a really good team. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
the difference of whether they're going to give the O-line praise or not in that first game is going to be the quarterback. Is Tyler going to make the third down plays in the third quarter and the fourth quarter when we really need it? He's already good enough to survive the game. That's why he played last year, because he can just be thrown out there and can survive. But is Tyler going to convert in the horseshoe, in the red zone, 3rd and 7? I believe the play call is going to give us a chance, but is he going to make the throw or is he going to run around? I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I think Tommy is good enough to give him a chance. Maybe not 68 attempts in a game, but he's going to give him probably a more heavy run than pass, which his ass better be in shape for. Because when it comes down to them 3rd and 6s after you done ran 40 yards and then, whatever the case is, you got to make that throw. And that's what I hope we're not saying all season. You got to make that throw. Other than that, the kid's smart. He's talented enough to be better than average. So the O-line's going to stick and hold his back up. And can he make plays with those guys on the outside?
Lucky Lefty Podcast. Malik Zaire, the original Lucky Lefty. I'm Shaun Davis. We're talking about the explosiveness of the Notre Dame offense in 2022. How explosive can it be? Got a couple of super chats, bro. Lucas Chapman, we appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat. I think how the O-line and quarterback progress will really dictate how explosive this offense can be.
And I think a key, like I keep saying, is identity. If Michael Mayer is our best offensive player, he's got to touch the ball at least 10 times. Just give it to him.
As far as targets.
Instead of scheming it up so much, only because it's a production thing. A lot of times we stall because we got too cute of plays that are open, but we just didn't hit them because we waiting too long, or we holding on to the ball, or a guy slips and falls. So it's too much synchronicity that you would require to execute the play instead of just saying, "Hey, Michael Mayer run a 5 and out, should get us some extra yards." You know what I mean? Sometimes it's that simple, but that's what an identity looks like when you're looking at offense. That's why when you're trying to break down teams, that's how you break them down. You go like, who is their best players and what do they try to do with them? When you look at us, it's like, okay, we just got to hold them off on the run and then press them on 3rd down play, man. We'll be all right. We got to change that part, and that part is going to be changed with the quarterback. Well, we can't just tee off because, Tyler can take a shot downfield past 40 yards. You got to be aware of that. They got Styles running down the middle of the field.
Yeah.
We can't play too soft and just drop 8 because the boy like to run around a lot. You know what I mean? So it's going to be that type of dynamic that is hopefully can give teams a different look on 3rd down, because right now it's aggravating because everybody in the stadium knows what teams are running on 3rd down.
Facts.
Cincinnati didn't change. They played man, press, 3rd down. They had them 2 lockdown corners and said good luck. And then they up front was just more aggressive at that time.
Right.
That's just a bad fit. Some teams are bad. Like San Francisco was a bad fit for the Cowboys, and it showed up. It's just they are perfectly fit to beat them, and that's just what it is.
Yeah, and the Cowboys had Dak at quarterback.
Oh man, cut it out.
Another super chat, Demetrius Rex. I saw something about Caleb Williams being down at LSU and USC. How do you think Kelly would fare with Caleb?
We saw the personal chat. I don't think the LSU is serious. However, if it was, I think he'll just be frustrated, because you would never get a true, is this what we're trying to do? You're going to be stuck in this where are we at type of thing,
Who's the OC again, bro?
Yeah, I don't even know the OC he got. So what development is he? Oh my gosh. Yeah, what development is he looking? Oh my gosh, yeah. What development is he looking for? But it's like you on and off with a girl for so long. It's just like, what we doing?
Yeah.
So that's more of what I feel like he doesn't want, which makes USC look better. Either way, we're gonna have to play him. You know what I mean? Either way, I think USC, we're gonna have to see him twice. LSU, we usually play LSU in the bowl game. I don't know how that happens all the time, but that usually comes up every 3 or 4 years.
Well, LSU, not LSU, but USC is really in the birds. LSU really, USC has supreme leverage. Number one, because they have Lincoln Riley. Number two, because they have a ton of skilled players coming in over the next 2 classes and next 2 cycles. And number three, they can sit back and wait.
Yeah, he don't have to do much. He in USC.
Hey, dude, Jackson Dart didn't just transfer for nothing.
Keaton Slovis gone. I mean, I think we all know what was coming.
They know what's coming.
Caleb been out here for feel like 2-3 weeks already. If you watch his Instagram stories, he's been at all the Laker games. It's like, dang, we already know you just picking out a little crib downtown, so
nice little condo downtown.
Yeah, I just hope that, because for USC, this would be the most dynamic quarterback they've had in quite some time. Probably been a long time since they had a person with curly hair in that quarterback position. You know? So,
and based upon what his father said, LSU just doesn't fit.
Yeah, we already know LSU don't fit.
He's gonna go to LSU. He might as well come to Notre Dame.
At least you have a better chance. For real, I better have a better defense. But I think that's clearly saying he's going to USC.
I think that goes without saying. Like, man, read the tea leaves.
Just get your scout report together, man. Don't even worry about if he is or not.
Right. Jason Buckner, let's go Bengals from Northern Kentucky.
Who they? Joey B, Joe Shiesty, Joseph B. Burrow.
Do you think they really have a shot, bro?
Against the Titans, yeah. Ryan Tanner, who?
Derrick Henry's coming back though, supposedly.
Man, listen. Ryan Tanner, who?
You played a close game against the Raiders, bro.
Ryan Tanner downhill. That's what I'm thinking.
You played a close game against the Raiders, bro.
Listen to me. Do you know who that number 9 is? It ain't Carson.
I will say this. I want Lorenzo Styles to become a Jamar Chase for Notre Dame. I know that.
We don't throw enough like that. But
that's the problem. We need to.
See, we
coming out of that bowl game,
68 attempts.
Coming out of that bowl game, there is no reason to tell me that attempts and targets to the receivers and tight ends shouldn't be more than rushing attempts.
That's a skewed. I think that's a very skewed prisoner of the moment, only because.
Well, we know that the offensive line can pass block better than run block right now. I'm talking about without seeing what Harry's done. Their pass blocking was very good in the Fiesta Bowl. Run blocking, well, Tommy really didn't give them an opportunity either.
68 attempts? Come on. People are not understanding. That's a lot of throws. Jack probably at Wisconsin didn't throw for 68 attempts in 7 games. You know what I mean? Come on. That's ungodly.
That tape might get Jack into a NFL.
Yeah, Jack got a Senior Bowl invite because of that. Because of 68 attempts against a good team. Come on.
Right, 500 yards.
And I know that's what Tommy was doing. He was like, man, I'm going to get Jack as close as I can. It was Jack's showcase. Win it or lose it is Jack's showcase. Because ain't nobody, come on. I don't even think Brian Kelly would agree with that game plan. 68 times. He probably called it off. What are you doing? Why are you doing so much?
Jay Golden, 44. First half points are huge. Great point, Shaun. That is the difference of getting to the next level. Yeah, you have to get to that fast. That fast start is important.
But we did that. We did do that as a team in the Fiesta Bowl. We started off great. We hit the marks for the first half. I think because we're not used to that, it probably came back on us a little harder than we thought.
Yeah, you know what? But it comes down to also playing to, and we'll get to this. According to Irish Breakdown, Brian Driscoll gave some great intel about the DC search, and it's down to 4 guys now. Derek Mason looks like he's going to replace Jim Knowles at Oklahoma State. That's the DC. And it's about matching styles, right? So if you have an explosive offense, and we've seen Nick Saban do this, not only change his style offensively, but then change his defense to match what his offense is doing. So he knows if his offense is more explosive and they're going to jump out on teams, that's more passes by the other team because they won't be able to just run the ball. So then you don't see a lot of Marcel Darius's and Mount Cody's at Alabama anymore at D tackle.
I mean, I don't know. Them dudes, them suckers is big though.
Yeah, they not 360, 370, but they're about 320 and they can rush the passer.
Yeah, you definitely. I mean, those are just two outlier. Them and Georgia are two outlier defensive lines because they really can do it all. Jordan Davis, 6'7", pass rushing. I mean, that's come on.
That's you don't see guys
better. Yeah, like that's the type of. That's why you. It's like, man, you can't even count them. But I do think that gearing what we're doing towards, I think it's just working reverse. I think we'll have to coach our offense based on our defense, and maybe that is more time of possession. Tommy gets more plays out of drives than, which is probably what he wants. Probably want to get 10-play drives and be real controlled on the football because he knows he's going to get chances. With a defense that I think is going to be pretty stingy. With all the linebackers we recruiting, we should be a pretty stingy defense. So, in my opinion, I think it's more game control, similar to Georgia style. I think we'll pass more, considering Tyler's a better quarterback. But like I said, it's just so hard to tell once you didn't get to see him at all in the Fiesta Bowl. I think why I speak to that also is because I had a chance to do the Music City Bowl. And after that game, gave me confidence going into that Texas game because I got to see it. So it's going to be interesting for Tyler to, get a shock like that at the shoe is something different.
Lefty Podcast, talking Notre Dame's offense 2022. How explosive can it be? So the question is really, is it really going to come from scheme or is it just going to come from the players making plays?
Well, it's because of the scheme. It's going to require the players to make plays, but it's going to be a more collective, a group effort. So everybody from Avery Davis to even the freshmen that get in and get the ball have to understand that in your limited time of getting it, your ass better do something with it, because we're spreading the love. You know what I mean? Now it's different. Right. So the scheme is going to dictate that. However, if we were coaching the players, I'm like, every game, Michael Mayer, you got 10 chances in the first half to make something with it. We giving you 10 targets. So there's 10 plays directly for you. We throwing you the ball. If not, we taking off and running. That would be my strategy for Tyler early on, especially getting comfortable. Because he likes to run and they ask him to run a lot, I just be like, look, I'm going to say we're going to run a corner with Michael Mayer. If he's not there, look for your running back, Tyree. If not, take off and do that 10 plays on purpose in the first half. And then you can call all the other stuff. You can call whatever you want. But them 10 plays, it's just be a play sheet of Chris Tyree, Michael Mayer, and Tyler Buckner plays. Just 10 of them. You call in the first half, make sure we get those in. Yeah. And then you go with whatever else. That's how I would do it. Now, Tommy, he's probably going to coach scheme and got 7 different receivers touching the ball, and we're getting a bunch of yards, but it makes it for a non-experienced quarterback dicey because now on an important down, do I stick to the play or do I go to my guy? Yeah. So it's more decision-making than it is necessarily playmaking.
All right, let's get to some of the comments from LL Nation. DBZ says her 3, Styles, Mayer, Tyree?
Yeah, I liked how they used Tyree in that first half. They was able to get him on some swings. He did some special teams. He caught the ball. He ran the ball. So that's the capacity of what he has. I don't think he's an every down back, but he can get you a first down when you need it. He can get you some big plays when you want them. And he's a matchup problem out of the backfield.
Peter Hall says, I'm tapping in from Montgomery, Alabama, under the weather, so I get to watch a little live today. We appreciate you, Peter.
Yeah, go and get some medicine, Peter, man, with this good info.
Mike Russell says Harry Heastand returning will make a difference for the O-line. Oh, that's without a fact. He should have made a difference for the Bears, but I don't even want to get to that. Talk about how out of sorts they are and the entire organization. I got Lucas Chapman once again. You can almost guarantee that Buckner will automatically have 2 to 3 running TDSs, touchdowns before the game even starts.
See, but the thing is, though, is that Caleb and Tyler went together through the Elite 11, and I mean, they're not far in talent from each other. You see what I'm saying?
Explain that again, because we don't want people always try to say we're the podcast that hates Tyler Buckner, and we really were the only podcast, Notre Dame podcast, calling for Tyler Buckner to start early last year, so he wouldn't be going into the horseshoe with a lack of experience. But
exactly, like Caleb and Tyler went through Elite 11 together.
Yeah,
they have a lot of similar talents. They're definitely very similar in a lot of ways. I think that's where the difference of why fit is important for quarterbacks is because you would think Caleb and Tyler are on 2 different planets because of the way that they're used. When I think Tyler in a not great fit because you're so used to a Jack Cohn that he became a little bit indecisive because he's trying to do what Caleb is freely allowed to do. It's like if you a shooter and Steph Curry goes to like the Thunder, that offense is different than in the Warriors. So you're just not going to get out the same production. So it's really important that quarterbacks remember you got to go somewhere where the quarterback coach or offensive coordinator is giving you the freedom of your and use of your talents the right way. I'm not saying Tommy's not using them the right way, but yes, I am, because last year he definitely should have had more of a development stage like Caleb did. You so young. Your first couple snaps just got to make something happen. You're too worried about him snapping the ball over the head or not knowing the play. That's not going.
Like your first play is the primary is not open. I'm out.
Yeah, that's easy. I mean, it's in the NFL. You're not technically getting paid, so it really don't even, But for Tyler, I think it's important too, especially in that progression of what I noticed last year and what he needs to have better this year. Is just really decision making and having the confidence in those decisions because it's going to work on his mechanics.
Yeah.
If he's in the pocket and he's out there looking around like, oh, guys ain't open, his feet get to moving all over the place. That's when balls eat the dirt and all types of stuff. Yeah. But if he is in tune with the coordinator and he knows what's going to be called next, he's in tune with the preparation, he's been taking all the reps, then that third down against Virginia Tech, he's not rolling his ankle throwing a pick. Because he ain't scrambling. He boom, 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 or whatever the case is. So that's really the difference because he has the talent to get it done. He's a smart kid. So that's where the difference comes in. With Caleb, you see he going to where his coach is. He like, look, I respect Brett Venables, I guess, but he ain't calling my plays. I'm going with somebody I know, and that's why I'm sure he's leaving to go there. So there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Sure. If he gonna give me the ball and give me the ultimate green light, I'm going there.
Yeah. Facts.
I don't got the ultimate green light.
Another super chat from my guy Matt 2011 GT. Do you think Tyler will have a tendency to run too soon since that was what he was asked to do all last year? In other words, will this be a bad habit?
I believe it'll be a bad habit. It's the Brandon Wimbush syndrome. They get to thinking you can do some things in packages with running the ball, and then that becomes your marquee thing. And then when you start in full time, they rely on that, and you don't develop the proper way to pass. Now everybody's saying you can't throw, and when you throw, you're throwing picks, and
Right.
so that they gave him the Brandon Wimbush mold. Hopefully, Tommy's smarter about his development and his creativeness for his plays to where those RPOs are more effective. But Tyler Buckner's going to be judged on his conversions late games. That's just what Notre Dame football comes to every season.
Yeah.
It comes to one or two games. How are you converting on offense late games? Are we stalling like we usually do where we can't get enough points in the game to be competitive? Or are we going to change that? Are we going to hit those markers of 25 for first half, 38, 39 range? Because that's what the teams that are winning it all do. So can Tyler Buckner be the 3 or 4 point difference on a football team that's ready to take that next step? I mean, us calling Keaton Slovis ain't convincing.
In the middle of his set, like, yo,
it couldn't be that thirsty. Like, let us just, I don't have a problem with calling him, but don't be the man bragging like, man, I had these fools calling me as soon as I hit the port.
Right.
What are we talking about? Why?
Two workers, thank you, Day One, for tapping in today. Thanks for the show. And you guys do, and all you do for ND Nation, you make mine every day. You make every day better.
Matter of fact, we playing him too, aren't we? We playing Pitt next year?
Yes.
So we got Caleb, Keaton, Caleb, Keaton, CJ. Yes. This is the toughest schedule of all Notre Dame past 12 years, for sure. This is ridiculous.
Thank you for the super chat. Speaking of the 49ers, we need a Montana Clark kind of chemistry. Well, I mean, TB's roommate is Lorenzo Styles, so
that's it.
And it was good to see, this is the first week of training. It was good to see Tyler Buckner front and center, right in the middle.
Yeah, because nobody else is gonna do it.
Right.
That's just not the culture at Notre Dame, where you just got a bunch of, guys like that. So for him to do that is a great first step.
Man, we have some Ozzy Max disagrees with you. Titans don't have a chance. Bengals gonna move the ball in style. You watch Cincy 24, Titans 14. He agrees with you, I mean.
Cincy's a cooler team, so of course they have to advance.
Cooler.
They just way more fun to watch than some Titans. Derrick Henry ain't played in a while, so them hits gonna hurt a little bit.
For who? Him or the linebackers?
Both.
Joe Krusich, thank you for tapping in with us. Malik, can you speak on Tyler's mechanics and what needs to change for him to be able to make those type throws on key third downs?
It's all about decision making and confidence in what you're doing. If you know that you got a play call that you and Tom have been talking about all week on specific situations, and you come up on that situation, and you got to trust that it's going to be there. That's just what it comes down to, because we don't really have to talk. You can talk mechanics, but I think mechanics comes through being indecisive. I've never seen somebody be decisive and truly miss on a throw unless you just are a Tim Tebow or whatever, where you just have flaws in your mechanics. But ever since Phillip Rivers played 18 years in the league, mechanics is whatever. But Phillip Rivers knows where the ball's supposed to be. So however ugly it is, he's going to give him a chance. And that's all we asking Tyler in that first year. Give your guys a chance. We're not asking you to be Superman, even though it may take some slight Batman work to get it done. But shit, that's why you was a highly rated recruit and you at Notre Dame.
Yep. Thank you for the super chat, MW Junior 72. Thank you for the super chat again. And your question: if Caleb eliminated Notre Dame due to lack of quarterback prep for the next level, but is now looking at Kelly, were his words an indictment of Reeds? Still have my concerns about Reeds as OC and QB coach.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has concerns because we didn't win the Fiesta Bowl. So that's an easy, low-hanging fruit to point out. I do think that he knows where he's at on in the message boards and on the hot seat. He knows that there's pressure. He'll probably tell you he don't care, but it's important that he's in tune with his quarterback. That's all that I would want to see. I think it's just too much scheming and too many late nights you got to spend taking time to have a plan for Jack and then have a plan for Tyler.
Yeah.
So I do think that he can sleep easier at night knowing his quarterback from the first day to the first game. And it'll be good to see that development and chemistry happen because I really do think once Tyler gets more comfortable, he can just start developing his touch. I told you way back when we first started talking about him, he's a one-level thrower. You would think he's a baseball pitcher because he's throwing one speed all the time.
Yeah.
And it's because he has an impressive arm. He can throw it hard like Brett Favre and all those guys. But as you develop as a quarterback, as a starter, okay, I can't just zoom everything.
Right.
So hopefully that touch develops. But it takes time. I don't think like I said, I do not think he's going to go in this Ohio State game and throw for no 300, 400 yards. I do not think so. I mean, if he does, then shit, we're going to win the championship.
Yeah, he does that. It's like, okay. It's going to get real serious. Like, okay, this might be.
Yeah, I'm locked in. I'm getting my Buckner and Heisman stuff together. Shit.
Lilo Galante, thank you for the super chat. My question is about the team's winning edge mentality. Should we adapt that saving strategy of bringing in motivational speakers at least once a month, along with Freeman's psychological coaching of winning? Go Irish.
Well, Freeman's got it in the bag right now. I mean, he's got the team in the right state of mind, especially from a get better and where they got to go. I think teams before didn't really know where to go. We just knew that we kept getting stopped at the door. I think we see the party in the backyard, so we want to go through the front door now. We got a destination. So I think Marcus Freeman does a great job of directing that. Now, sustaining that is going to have to come through wins. That's just how it happens. I don't think any of that can stick with him, especially the severity of where it comes from when he talks. That if we don't win, it's not gonna stick. Us, we gotta win twice. We gotta win 2 games in one damn near to get the monkey off your back. So
yeah,
it'd be great to see how the team responds to that challenge. I think they all kind of understand where they are with that, and so it's going to translate hopefully through this spring and summer.
John Jones, thank you for tapping in. Hey guys, who you all think will be a complimentary wide receiver or wide receivers to Styles and Mayer?
Hopefully Lindsey. I think Lindsey did enough apologizing, enough crying on the internet to where he's going to get in his bag.
Avery Davis,
yeah, all them, everybody coming back.
Jay Thomas, Deion Coles, everybody.
Yeah, I'm expecting everybody coming back to be 20 times better.
Right.
Because if not, then I don't know.
You should be open.
Yeah.
If they're doubling Mayer, first of all, if you know how to get off bumper run, Chancey Stuckey, that's your first job. Technique. Right?
Get the doors open, Chancey.
The entire game is either running into zone and wide open areas or beating one-on-one coverage. That's it. Because Mayer style.
He got the speed, so that's not even the good. And Tyler going to throw it. He can throw a little farther than Jack. So can you beat one-on-one? That's your whole mission.
And that's why the offensive line impacts everything. Because if the O-line is putting in work and the running game is working and you're still trying to take away Mayer, you can't put 8 in the box.
You
can't. So it goes hand in hand. So now you got 6, 7 in the box. You spread them out. 2 safeties back. So now crossing routes, posts, skinny slants, all of that.
And then when it gets down to you get Audrey estimate time. That's my guy. Go. He gonna clean up. That's the cleanup guy.
I got Drunk Vigo. He's on something each and every show. I love Drunk Vigo. Says Tommy needs to put his big boy pants on.
Because he don't have a choice at this point.
No, the spotlight. We've been saying the spotlight is on him.
The kitchen is getting hot. The kitchen getting real hot. So you gotta be on your P's and Q's.
Todd Epps, thanks for tapping in. Say I dropped the phone. Love this podcast. I hope it works till I get caught up on episodes. Missed the show for about a week. It was a long week. We appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Come back. We're going to be here 5 days.
Pete Mo, what's good, Pete? Notice Buckner throws the same ball regardless of distance, a sign that Tommy Rees is developing him. Would be different touch on the ball depending on the type of throw.
Absolutely, Pete. He out there throwing heaters. And that's just a young quarterback thing. Some come out of it, some don't come out of it. I think the ones that get to New York, they come out of it. You watch a Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, all those guys, they put in touch on the ball. They understand the different levels of throws, the 3 levels of throws.
Yeah.
I think Tyler enjoys the level he's throwing it because it's been working all this time, which I think is what it'll come through in practice and getting ready for the game. He'll see that, okay, if I throw it like this, either he catches it or I'm making a tackle because it's only can be perfect in one place. So the more he can realize that not every throw's got to be perfect, you just got to give him a chance. I think that'll come through time, but we'll see what happens.
Charlie Weiss's last belt loop. Thank you for the super chat. Serious question: if Indy strikes out with quarterbacks in the 2023 class, with the 4 big names on the board, is it time for Tommy to go? What is the solution?
Us not getting a great quarterback in the 23 class is an indictment, of course, on the offense and whoever's recruiting that position. Because how? At that point, by 2023, 24, we should be top 3 in the country or somewhere in the top 5.
Facts.
And you can't be a top 5 team continuously without no quarterback. I just don't. How is it possible we can't get no quarterback? We top 5 in the country. How? So if I'm Marcus Freeman, I'm like, look, I don't even coach offense, so I'm looking to get people up through if they not getting the guys. I mean, come on. How do you not? But that's anywhere. It should be like that for anywhere. I don't think the teams that are successful every year go through stuff like that. I mean, I think if anything, Clemson just missed on the guy, but he was still a 5-star. I mean, the man had 1 million followers before he got to, college. So at least they got a guy that wasn't what they thought. We getting guys with hopefully he can be. That's just two different ways.
Yeah. Lucas Chapman said, unfortunately, I think our offense needs to be possession-minded until our defensive secondary proves themselves. I disagree with that. I think it's flipped. I think we need to score more points because of – I would agree with that if our defense was better against the run game.
Yeah.
Like the last 2 years, we've given up 113 and 135 yards per game.
That's not championship.
That's not good enough. And that's why I said the defensive line is under a spotlight for me this year too. Like everybody's coming back. Isaiah Foskey's back. Everybody's happy. 113
we gotta get under 80. We got to get under 80.
You have to be a championship defense.
100 plus is you a balanced offense. That's a balanced day. You eating up clock. You gaining first downs. I mean, that's a lot to be giving up.
So if you're going possession and you're not scoring, you're not highly effective or efficient in the red zone getting touchdowns, and you're just getting field goals, and then teams are coming out and tiring you out and putting up 113, 150 yards on the ground, that's
you don't stand a chance.
No, and then that's play action. The play action is going to kill your DBs.
And then you're getting 1 sack a game?
Right. That's definitely not going to work. So I think based upon the history, because I don't see a jump. Now this happens. Oklahoma State in 2020 gave up 160 yards per game on the ground. They made a huge jump of almost 80 yards. They gave up 84 yards.
The bowl champs.
They gave 84. They gave up 84 yards per game on the ground in 2021. Like that. It tells the story. It tells the story. It tells the story. Now, if Notre Dame can get to about 90,
we'll be all right.
We'll be all right. And then I'm cool doing a possession game. But if you're giving up 135 and you're not getting possessions, then you need to be explosive.
you need to be picks or turnovers need to be
Man.
crazy.
All of that. We have to find a way to play complementary football.
I think because of the style of defense, we giving up runs. I think it has to be limited in one way, either one dimensionally. But with the recruit linebackers, the running game gonna be solid for me. I think we make that up, and we made it up already in recruiting.
Yeah.
The Prince Collies, the Jalen Sneeds, the Drakes, the safety involvement. I think we're gonna be good on a tackling standpoint, which will make the runs less because a lot of the times we're there, but we missing tackles, getting arm and leg tackles broken. Like, hey, bring the guy down. Yeah. So the talent is going to increase that linebacker, so the rushing is going to decrease because we smacking shit. We got guys.
In his defense, the linebackers are going to be the key. The linebackers and the safeties, right? Because he wants guys to get upfield, cause havoc, get tackles for loss on the defensive line, and then those linebackers have to properly field, run sideline to sideline, and make the plays when they're in position to make the plays.
Because I think Isaiah Fauske is going to play better with better linebacker play. I don't think Isaiah Fauske can change life as an individual player, as controversial as that sounds. I think he can be a great productive player.
Yeah.
But when you think about even the Fiesta Bowl, he's had, 14 sacks on the season, and the sack he had came in the first possession.
Yep.
So, you're going to be productive, but you're not game-changing. If the sack came fourth quarter when you only got one, like, for instance, Von Miller against Baltimore a few weeks back.
Yeah.
It was 2 minutes left in the game. Baltimore going to score. You haven't seen Von Miller all day. Third down, he gets a game-winning sack.
Right.
That's what you get him for. He didn't do nothing
on both sides of the ball. You can scheme all you want to early. You got a full week to scheme.
That's right.
Yeah, you can scheme teams in the first half and be explosive. When it gets to that second half and everybody makes adjustments, God darn it, your best players have to make plays.
Exactly.
Your players have to make plays. That's what it came down to that in the Fiesta Bowl. Your players
y'all too good on the scheme. JD Bertrand said it. They coach said it. Raheem Moore said it. You know what I'm saying? The scheme good. We do our job as the coach. They get paid that money because they do their job. Right. Now, the other part, when the scheme goes out the window, just like when you have a game plan, you get punched them out.
Right.
What are you going? It's player versus player.
Right. One possession game on game 6 in Utah. Yeah. Michael Jordan up top with 15 seconds. There is no scheme, dog.
There is no scheme. It's good luck. Guard me.
Ain't no scheme. Ain't no scheme. Either he makes or misses. That's it. That's
what it comes. Are you gonna complete the pass or not? Like Tua and Devontae Smith's life changed for Alabama. Alabama changed, college football changed because they executed when they needed to.
Right.
Tua wasn't supposed to play that game. That was Jalen Hurts' game.
Right.
Tua got in and said, I got one chance. Devontae Smith said, I got one chance. And they made it happen.
2nd and 26.
Stick it in circumstances.
Overtime, 2nd and 26.
Yeah, come on.
Make a play.
Saban's like, I can't call. I'm the greatest coach of all time. I have nothing for this. Y'all I recruited y'all to do this for me. Period.
So let's see. I know we have another super chat. I want to make sure I don't want to miss it. Let's see.
They talk about Joes and pros. We need Joes and dudes. We need dudes. We got enough pros. We need dudes. We need Joes and dudes. We have Joes and pros.
Dude, second half is all about playmakers, man.
Yeah, we need Joes and dudes.
They players made plays. Stetson Bennett made a play. Brock Bowers made a play. The running backs were getting 4 yards a clip, which meant the offensive line stepped up. Made plays.
Running hard.
Yo, before 2 plays before the game breaking interception that took it to 14 points. Ja'Cory Brooks dropped a pass on the 4-yard line.
Yeah,
that was a dime.
Dime.
He didn't make the play. It was there. He didn't make the play. The game
scheme was there. The play wasn't there. Scheme was there. You seen.
And
I
not to
mean,
mention,
he dropped it down, and then he hit the corner too.
right? And Bryce Young was getting hit after he threw the ball. Like the quarterback made the play, wide receiver has to make the play.
And that's why Bryce was in New York. Here.
Let's see. So, man, let's go ahead and switch over. As I said before, I kind of teased it. Irish Breakdown talked about it, so you can see it on the message board. The 4 finalists for the DC job. And this goes back, and Brian reiterated what we've been saying all week. Marcus Freeman has prioritized going and getting great players over filling the coaching position. That's why he's hit the recruiting trail as hard as he's hit with the rest of the staff. And going out, he's giving out offers in 22. He's giving out offers in 23. He's just giving an offer to a freshman quarterback in Detroit. 25. Like, yo, he's scouring the nation for every class for the next 3 years to make sure the best talent gets to Notre Dame. So the 4 finalists are Houston's defensive coordinator, Doug Belt, defensive coordinator at Boston College, Tim Lucaba, Joe Rossi, DC at Minnesota, and Al Golden, who's coaching the linebackers at Cincinnati. Doug Belt, Lucaba, and Golden, all of those guys have, I think Belk is the only one that extensively teaches defensive backs. So he would kind of be in the same archetype as Nick Saban as a DC, being over the defense and teaching DBs in a sense, or having that knowledge. Everybody else, their specialty is teaching linebackers. So that just gives you a breakdown. And for me, I'm leaning towards Lucaba. I know a lot of people like Belk because Houston was a heavy turnover team the last 2 years. They created havoc. They had great defensive backs, and they had one of the best third down percentages of getting off the field. So that might be the type of complementary football that Marcus Freeman is looking for his defense. And they were a smallish defense along the front. So you have to remember that. Al Golden, for me, that's like a fail-safe.
Yeah.
All else fails. Towards Tim Lucaba because he has plenty of NFL experience. We can bring that. And also, Boston College went from like in the hundreds defensively, came all the way down to the 30s from him just showing up. And I wouldn't say that they have elite talent on their defense. So I like what I see. He would be my number 1 pick. I would go Doug Belk 2, Joe Rossi 3, Al Golden 4.
I think that's a great lineup. I just think, like you said, it's who's the complementary to what Marcus and his ideology of what he's building, because you got to coach to the scheme of the players. You know, you go on talent first. So what's the talent fit with what you do best? And I think it also has to address, like you said, the things that we were challenged at. You know, if we can't get the D-line that we may want right now, but maybe in the future, can we have a scheme that cuts that rushing total in half? If a guy is specified at that, if it could just take one thing to make us better, I think that's a bigger benefit than the guy that's just coming in trying to reestablish what he had somewhere else.
And you know, I see this in the chat, and I totally agree. The Notre Dame defense held his team down the entire year. And as bad as they got for the third and half of the fourth quarter, it was the Notre Dame defense that made the plays in the fourth quarter to put Notre Dame in position to win that game in the Fiesta Bowl.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
So your guys have to step up. Foskey stepped up. Like, that was all him. That wasn't scheme. That was him catching a guy, playing the RPO, playing the quarterback, running to the running back, or running to Sanders, playing both, running to Sanders, stripping them.
That's why he's a first-round talent, though.
That's why he's first-round talent. You need
he had 14 sacks in the season. That's a great player.
Absolutely. Your best guys have to be able to make plays in crunch time in football games to win it. It's as simple as that. Let's see if it's another super chat that I missed. somebody is asking about Jerome Bettis is on campus, of course, finishing up his degree, and I'm sure he's going to be coming to practices. I'm pretty sure of that. There's no way he's going to be around campus and not be at practice or workouts.
Yeah, he's gonna have to show his face at some point, just support for the new coach. And I think he still has a huge pull just with the fanfare of Notre Dame because he's done so much for us and vice versa. I think it's important for kids to see it, but are kids still in tune with the bus, or is he kind of out of the newer generation of players?
He's even after retirement, he still was in the limelight because the NFL always found a way to put him in a commercial.
Yeah, but you think a Jalen Sneed would go crazy? He see Jerome Bettis in there, or would we go crazy if he saw like a Khalid Kareem? Shout out Khalid.
I think you know what, man. I think we do these young kids a disservice because I think they know a little bit more than we give them credit.
They may know, but I'm saying the excitement. Like I remember, for instance, working out with Brady Quinn when I was at Notre Dame, being a quarterback, getting a chance to work out with him when he was still in the league, and being that he had such a huge impact at Notre Dame, us working out just one-on-one was cool. I was pumped up. I don't know if, I would say the same for, I can't speak for him, but are they excited? Like, would Tyler Buckner be excited if Jimmy Clausen was like, yo, let's throw, or, I don't know. So
right.
Maybe some kids, these kids just ain't impressed by a lot, in my opinion. I've seen it out here where kids just not impressed by stuff that I was impressed by, but maybe there's a lot of options out here these days.
You know what? Heck, I would pretty much be impressed by anybody. I'm impressed by high school kids, bro. That's just how much I love sports in general. When I see a dope dude in high school, I'm like, yo. Like I said, I tell you all the time, I remember watching Derrick Rose as a sophomore. I remember watching Jabari Parker as a freshman. It's like when I see guys, even before they get big, like that's a moment for me. So
that's huge.
Yo, if I ran into Jerome Bettis, I know I would be like, yo, that's the bus, fam.
I would too. That's how I'm like, I don't know.
The bus.
That's the bus.
That's the bus.
All right, come on, this guy's great.
I would feel the same way if I ran into Kyron on the street, though.
I would, but it's just different. It's just different times. But I feel like I respect people's game enough to be excited to be like, oh, what's up? I don't know. Everybody different, I guess.
Juan Lozada says, what do you think about sending TB12 to Jordan Palmer?
I guess.
There's some other guys that
Jordan Palmer's not going to come to you first round anyway, so
Dude, just call Malik.
Call your boy. Your boy gonna set you straight. Now the thing is, I did send some stuff over to Tyler before he got Notre Dame around the time he was in the Elite 11, just because I knew he was going, and I always had the door open for him to ask anything or if he needed any help. But you know how that go when you on the high rise, you're a young Thundercat. You just want to keep going forward, and I get that because I'm the same way.
Facts. You know what time it is.
Petticoat, Petticoat Junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's petty history? Petty Junction.
That's what's up. I saw my guy Mike Russell in the chat. I didn't get a chance to bring up his chat. He said ILLINI. Bro, what's goody? Long time. Looking forward to catching up with you. Thanks for tagging in today. We have another super chat, but this is Petty Junction, the pettiest story of the day, each and every day. Yo,
you know what it is, that Penny Hardaway.
Bro, you gotta help me. I don't know who was petty in this. You know what I'm saying? So like Malik said, let's go.
And she can get this done. At Memphis,
In the first half like that, when it's unfolding, is it embarrassing? And
I think the one thing I can say to this media, because this media gets kind of fucked up sometimes when it comes to me, we don't have our full roster. Y'all know we don't have our full roster. Stop asking me stupid fucking questions about if I feel like I can do something. If I had my roster like they did, then I feel like I can do whatever I want to do. I'm coaching really hard. My boys are playing really hard. I'm not embarrassed about nothing. We have 4 freshmen starting. Y'all need to act like it. Act like we got 17 to 18 and 19-year-olds out here trying to learn how to play against 22, 23, and 24-year-old guys. Come on, man. Stop disrespecting me, bro. Like, don't do that. I work too fucking hard. I work way too hard for that. Y'all write all these bullshit articles about me, and all I do is work. We got young kids on the floor. They got young kids on the floor.
Bro.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Y'all write these articles and I just work. That sums it up. Y'all write these articles while I work.
See, we talk about this all the time, man. The guy that asked the question immediately ran to Twitter looking for somebody to rub his back and pat him on the back. Like, that was a fair question, right? Like, dude, first of all, stop. Like, if you're going to cover any sport, you have to have general knowledge of the sport. You have to know the injuries that have taken place for Memphis. You have to know that Amani Bates and Jalen Duren, their 2-star freshmen, should be in high school right now.
Yeah, they're like 17.
Like, dude, no, this is like a new age. This reclassification and all of that stuff. Guys are reclassifying.
These are babies.
But they're not becoming stars after reclassifying. They're trying to get to the bag quicker. That's all. They're trying to get to the bag a year quicker. Some guys reclassify and go straight to the G League. You know, it's a kid at Kentucky right now just qualified to go to the G League after sitting the first half of the season.
That's what I'm saying.
So that's how you're going to play for Kentucky in the second half of the season or go to the G League.
And they playing against guys that are nice too now.
And like
these 17-year-olds are way better than these 23-year-olds be wanting to be LeBron too, bro.
So that's my whole thing. Like, if you've been around the team and you know the situation, don't ask a question like that. Like, you
don't ask a general question like that where it's like, what do you mean?
He asked the man, are you embarrassed? Like, what coach is going to say he's embarrassed?
Embarrassed by what? I'll be like, by what? What am I embarrassed by? What?
Do you think he's gonna get the job done at Memphis? Come on, man. How long did it take Coach K? Coach K almost got fired before he finally got the program right and ended up winning national championships. I just think, there's a lot more rope given to certain segment of coaches than other coaches. That's all I'm gonna say. We just saw Kevin Ollie win how much?
11.5 because they fired him too early.
He won a national championship.
Yeah, so how y'all jumped the gun that fast? Y'all
he won a national championship. And they fired him without cause. And Kevin Ollie hit him for the bag. Well deserved.
It took 3 years to get the bag. It took 3 years, but that's a long time that you don't have me simmering, upset.
Crazy.
So, you get fired for winning. You get fired for everything, it feel like, so if winning ain't good enough to coach, then golly.
Once again, Penny Hardaway. I just had to hear it a second time, bro.
Have you ever lost faith that you can get this done?
At Memphis?
In the first half like that, when it's unfolding, is it embarrassing? And
I think the one thing I can say to this media, because this media gets kind of fucked up sometimes when it comes to me, we don't have our full roster. Y'all know we don't have our full roster. Stop asking me stupid fucking questions about if I feel like I can do something. If I had my roster like they did, then I feel like I can do whatever I want to do. I'm coaching really hard. My boys are playing really hard. I'm not embarrassed about nothing. We have 4 freshmen starting. Y'all need to act like it. Act like we got 17 to 18 and 19-year-olds out here trying to learn how to play against 22, 23, and 24-year-old guys. Come on, man. Stop disrespecting me, bro. Like, don't do that. I work too fucking hard. I work way too hard for that. Y'all write all these bullshit articles about me, and all I do is work. We got young kids on the floor. They got young kids on the floor.
Yo, Chet Holmgren is at Gonzaga. The only difference is he has a guy that came in third for Player of the Year next to him from last year, and a guy that made the All-Tournament team.
Yeah, Chet. Yeah, Chet. Real nice.
So Chet is a role player. A star player is going to the league, but he's a role player at Gonzaga because they have two players that are key to offense and key to team. He doesn't have to lead.
Chet just playing his role. He ain't really. Imani Bates and Jalen Duran got to play everything.
Yo, kudos to Penny, because what he really wanted to say, he kept it. He kept it about as PC as he could. He still wanted to make his point, but he kept it PC. Because what he really wanted to say is, yo, MF, let me tell you something, man. Stop with this BS. I know what you're trying to do. You know what's going on. You're in practice every day. You're around the program. Like, stop, dude. Stop.
Hey, he would have got fined if he was in the NBA talking that spicy.
Yo.
But the thing, too, is that this is where I understand a guy like Coach Kelly. This is why I get a guy like Coach Kelly, where he got a tight lip on that media, man. He be like, because they wasn't think about Coach Kelly's progression through the media. They was asking him about getting mad and taking anger management classes and all this stuff. And after a while, you stop hearing them questions.
Yeah,
them reporters stop getting access.
You would have never heard a question like that. Never.
That's what I'll be worried for Marcus Freeman, man. We can't go in Ohio State and get it buried.
To keep it a buck and put the Notre Dame media on notice, you should have done a better job of going after Jeff Quinn last year. Instead of being sneaky and trying to ask questions and nitpick about the defense. Brian Kelly don't know a darn thing about defense. But every game, y'all trying to nitpick about the defense. And have zero to say about Jeff Quinn. We're watching this offensive line suffer every week. And you have nothing to say. But here we go. We got to nitpick about a play in the third quarter when Notre Dame was winning the game because of the defense. We want to nitpick about plays in the third and fourth quarter. That's what you got from the local media last year.
And that's why we got our own Lefty Podcast, because we're going to drop them choke bombs.
It's crazy. We got another super chat before we get out of here, bro. I hate being a stalker on Twitter, but I just got it and can't help it. Is there a reason Drake Bourne and that class are the only guys reaching out to the Carnells of the world? Shouldn't Tyler at least be trying? Well,
no.
Man, I think you're definitely behind because Tyler just went to see the kid. Oh, you talking about Tyler Buckner?
Yeah, I'm like, no, Tyler Buckner should not.
I read that as Tommy. My fault.
Tyler should not be, because Tyler's whole focus should be on guys that are on the team. He should not be trying. If they come up to school and, they walk past the film room, which he should be in.
And Drew has a better personality from what I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, everybody loves Drew. We know that. And Drew has his place on the team. That's why they love him so much. You know what I mean? I think. And
Carnell told us that's who he talked to.
And Tyler would develop. I don't know if he's in such a Drew in a personality. He's got his own way about it, maybe like an Eli Manning type of leadership. But either way it goes, his focus, he knows what needs to be on recruiting. Let the recruiters recruit, and let Marcus Free do his thing, and we're gonna be all right. He gonna worry about the guys that get up there.
Man, he asked that man, can he get the job done, bro? Like I gotta put Penny on there because Penny had to hit him that hard.
It probably wasn't the first time though.
Yeah, you're right. Penny was being a little petty, but at the same time,
don't be trying my dog Penny like that, man.
That question was mad petty.
Bogus.
Mad petty. Especially if you're covering the team. Like you already know.
Yeah, you asking like you not with us.
But see, that's the problem. When you get like the Fab Five, people expect 4 freshmen to be able to do like nothing should change.
Yeah.
Like you should be able to coach them up. Right? Like I had a debate on Twitter with this dude yesterday. This dude told me Notre Dame needs to do a better job at depth, at key positions. And I said, well, what do you mean? He was like Alabama was able to cover up for their wide receivers. I said, when? I said, not in the national championship game.
Now, them boys were young.
And he brought up Ohio State in the Rose Bowl. I said, yeah, that's cool. But what about in the Big Ten championship when they played Northwestern and Olave was out and Garrett Wilson was coming back, rushed back from injury?
Northwestern had things on lock too.
Dude, there are rare. You can't find teams that can lose their top two receivers and get the same production.
And keep losing. They kept losing guys.
It does not happen. So don't forget, go over for the Culture Friday. Don't forget, go over to the YouTube channel, look up our post, and tag your vote. Who is the greatest female MC of all time? What you bumping this weekend, bro? For the culture.
For the culture, man, I am bumping. Let me check this real quick. I'm checking this weekend. I just downloaded it too.
So I can say, yeah, go ahead.
So actually, I'm bumping that Sorry for the Wait. That Lil Wayne, it just dropped back on Apple Music, and it just brought back all the memories. That Sorry for the Wait was good time in college, man.
Yo, so I really have fallen in love with Mary dropped this joint with Dave East. That's fire.
You like Dave East?
Huh?
You like Dave East?
I respect him.
Okay.
Yeah, I respect anybody that hustles, bro.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
And his game and how he translated, he didn't just stay with rap. He used that to transition over to acting. I always respect that.
Yeah, he did slide on some acting.
Yeah, a dude is he's not stuck on trying to be the greatest MC. He's not. And I'm definitely gonna be checking out that new Big Crit.
Now people are underrated on Big Crit. Big Crit puts out great albums, man. He's more of a southern rapper, but I like his sound. You know, that southern twang to it he puts it together. And he got some smooth beats. You know, it's not just all 808s and bass. You know, he got some great smooth beats as well. So
ND Nation, our last thing we want to say to you guys going into the weekend, when it comes to the transfer portal, relax.
Oh yeah. It's an important announcement.
Y'all watch that bad fella like you waiting on the lottery numbers at 4:00.
I swear.
Man, relax. Notre Dame cannot grab everybody that jumps into the portal, man. No, we do not want JT.
You don't want, first of all, we don't want most of them that's in there. You know, when we highlighted guys, it was guys that, without a doubt, Brendan Rice. I told y'all about Brendan Rice. Where'd he go? USC. Caleb. I told y'all about Caleb. Where'd he go? USC. Jermaine Burton left Alabama. Where'd he go? Georgia. Elias Ricks. Where he left? He left LSU to go to Alabama. So it's like those are the guys I wanted. These little, these other guys. Listen, they wouldn't make us.
I get the Burton kid. You know why? The Burton kid is thinking about his career.
Yeah.
So everybody's like, yo, why would you leave Georgia and go to Alabama? Duh, it's Bryce Young. Bryce Young, Stetson Bennett.
He like, bro, y'all threw the ball 4 times in the fourth quarter. What am I talking about? What are we doing?
Right. He's like, man, let me go get my numbers up so I can get a look in the league.
Straight up.
And
so this is
what? That's actually dope move. He has his national championship.
He like, look, I'm trying to go for me now.
Now I'm going for
grab an NIL or something on the way.
Right. Our girl D Beezy says she is bumping some solid gold oldies.
That's right. Some Rhapsody just because it's her birthday.
Definitely bump some Rhapsody.
Yours,
dude.
Yours, yeah.
Now,
yes, it's yours. Yes.
I got up on her through Kendrick, of course.
Of course. That's how it happened for me too.
Yeah. So bump some Rhapsody today. Happy birthday to the Queen. Rhapsody out there. So for my guy Malik Zaire, don't forget, we're brought to you and featuring Anora Whiskey. Go to AnoraWhiskey.com, that premium American whiskey, AnoraWhiskey.com. If you're around the South Bend area, go search it out. It's somewhere in a store near you. Anora Whiskey, go get you some, or go to AnoraWhiskey.com and just order it. Won't take long. It'll get to you. AnoraWhiskey.com. So everybody have a great weekend, and always subscribe, share, like, subscribe, share, like, and we're also available on Apple Podcasts at A2S Network, A2S Network. So for the original Lefty himself, Malik Zaire, I'm Shaun Davis at SD2 Mike. We tell you always, spin it different. Have a great weekend. See you Monday, 9 a.m.